Welcome to Truth Seekers.
Hello, friends. Good morning, and welcome to the Seeker Podcast on Service of Change Radio, where we challenge reality, question that which has been taught, and hope to inspire a new direction of thought and bring about change. I'm your host, Dennis Nappy, II, on this Friday morning, July 10th, 2015. The weekend is coming. I am excited for it, but then again, every day seems like a weekend for me. But I hope those of you out there that are in the full swing of summer are getting ready to enjoy your weekend. Actually, my real hope is that moving forward, every day feels like a Saturday for you, because that really is, how to enjoy life when you're not forced to go to a job that you don't want to be at. But so find your passion and make it a reality. Been an exciting week, been a long week, got a lot done this week. Yesterday I got to go see the new Terminator movie. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan of the series, it was awesome. I won't give any spoilers out here, but it was really neat the way they did it and the way they captured elements from especially from the first movie, and I imagine that was just a lot of fun to go through with that project. And I didn't realize just how much I connected with that storyline and with those characters in that movie throughout my entire life. I mean, I saw the first Terminator when I was probably way too young to see it, but and then Terminator 2 was big when I was a kid. Excuse me, and really connected with that young character, that young, cocky little kid who was trying to save the world. By fighting these crazy machines. So it was just neat to see that evolution of that movie and see where it's gone through. Terminator 3, I was a huge fan of, the one with Claire Danes. That was my top one, but after seeing this yesterday, they really did a good job. So if you're into that movie, I highly recommend going to see it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to check it out. So lots going on here with Service of Change and Service of Change Radio. My good friend Clark Chamberlain is an author. He's behind Raven International Publishing. He's got a really good publishing company. Does a lot of great work. He also is behind the Book Editors podcast show, and he has his own morning podcast called The Right Life, and he's exploring options of bringing a new podcast to Service of Change Radio, considering talking about ways to inspire people to go out and make a difference, in their own lives. So that's the exact kind of caliber of people that were lower. Clark's a really good guy, very, very hard worker. So I'm excited to see if his show is going to manifest here on the Service Change Radio, and see where it goes. I'm really proud to be a part of this. It's hard work. It's exhausting at times, and like days like today, I wake up, looking at the Seeker podcast. I'm just so excited to do it, and there's just days I wake up and there's so much that I can talk about, but sticking to 20 to 30 minutes and keeping it interesting, it can be challenging sometimes. Saying, well, what am I going to talk about today? So if you have ideas, things you want to hear on a show, please hit me up. Check out the serviceofchange.com page, and my email's at the bottom. Just shoot me an email. Say, hey, why don't you talk about this on the show? I'd love to hear more about this. So, this format is free-flowing and evolving quickly. So today I'd like to talk a little bit about meditation, the importance of it, the power of it. I had some research that I pulled yesterday. And let's see if it's still up in my browser. Yes. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about my personal experience with meditation, and and the reasons why I think it's important personally. And I guess this all started for me with meditation as a kid. I was fascinated with the subject of astral projection, out-of-body experiences, the ability to leave your body and go exploring. I thought that was such a cool concept. I had a few experiences as a kid where I wake up and I'd be kind of in a goofy state. Like I've had several quote-unquote dreams where I get out of bed, I walk to my door, I try to grab the handle, my hand goes through it, and I can't, and then all of a sudden I'm laying back in bed. It was a real feeling, and it was just like I can't get out of my bedroom, and until eventually when I sit up, it's the real me, the physical me, I should say, not the real me, the physical me actually sitting up. But there's been times I've just been so tired, I keep trying to sit up, and I'm not physically doing it. I guess spiritually or astrally, I was doing it. So it's something that's always interested me. It's something that I knew was possible. But I had never been able to do it at will. Still can't. I try, but I still can't do it at will. But I do have those experiences from time to time. So I got turned on to meditation at a very early age, with that as my initial motivating factor. And I've tried meditating so many different ways. And, I have an ADHD brain, so my mind is constantly buzzing and running and chattering. So meditation has been difficult for me because I used to sit there and think, oh my God, I just got to clear my head. How do I clear my head? What's going on in my head? Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that. And everything's just going and going and going. But it's something that I've worked on and that I've practiced. And there's so many different techniques that one can employ to try to meditate. And there's what I use now is I do Tai Chi, and I do my own Reiki meditations. But sometimes just going and sitting quietly and just letting your mind wander freely and not thinking about anything in particular and not trying to force that silent state can help you to relax as well. And there's tapes that you can listen to. There's relaxing music that you can listen to. And you can have a lot of different goals in meditation, but ultimately it's just take that time for yourself. Set aside 5 minutes. I tell people when you're starting to learn to meditate, set a goal of I'm just going to sit here quietly for 5 minutes. Now I can sit for 30 minutes to an hour, if not longer, and meditate if I want to. But the best thing about that is take that time for yourself, because so often, we wake up in the morning and we're rushing through our day to get dressed, to get showered, to eat our breakfast, to get in the car, to rush to work. And next thing you know, you're at work and you're just going all go, 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 go. And then you come home and it's like, okay, rush, get in bed, go to sleep, get up and do it all over again tomorrow. And that can induce a lot of stress in your body and in your life. And stress, what research is showing, can cause physical symptoms within your body. It can cause physical ailments, headache, back pain. Some people get ulcers, stomach pains, a whole bunch of different things that stress can cause. So meditation is a fantastic way of relieving stress and just kind of bringing that balance back into your body. And you don't have to take a pill for it. You know me, I'm big on fighting the big pharma company through these types of means. I think this is the true revolution. This is the true resistance in these realms, is learning just how to care for yourself. And I'm a big fan of mind, body, spirit, and meditation definitely helps to tie all three of those together. So, what I do every morning is, I wake up, and normally first thing I do, I jump right into my meditation practices. Days like today, I come down because I woke up a little bit later than I wanted to, and I jump right into this podcast. But as soon as I'm done processing this, I still have a little bit of time before my kids wake up, unless they're going to have an early day, which I hope not. But I'll jump right into, my meditation. I do a Reiki meditation, which is kind of like a 10 to 15 minute self-healing session. And then I go into Tai Chi, which is moving meditation. And in that, I'm focusing on my breathing. I'm focusing on the alignment of my body and the movements and the energy running around me. And it's relaxing. It's very relaxing, and that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about, oh my gosh, am I going to get this website done? Am I going to do this writing? How's my book coming along? Those thoughts pop into my head, and when they do, I say, okay, I'll deal with that when I'm done. And that is just my time. And what I've learned over time now is that I'm so in tuned and aware of my body and the function of it. And when now in life I'm faced with a stressful situation, I'm able to focus on my breathing, and I'm able to find where my body's holding that stress. A lot of times I hold it in my stomach. A lot of times I hold it in my chest or in the region of my heart. And I'm able to focus on that part of my body and relax it and let it go. And the physical symptoms of that stress no longer affect me. Yeah, I still get stressed out. I mean, that's life. I'm working towards a total stress-free life. That's the goal of mine. I just don't know when I'm going to get there. With 2 young children, they cause enough stress in my life as it is. But having that power to identify that where the stress in your body is manifesting is such a neat thing to do. But some other techniques you can use. I also like to meditate with I talked about Robert Monroe, and I found, they have their own tapes through the Monroe Institute. Other people have created, binaural beats. There's apps for your phones you can get that are binaural beats. I've even made my own 4 hertz binaural beats that I can just put in my headphones and just sit quietly for a half hour and listen to it, and it just helps relax me. And I've had some neat experiences. Besides just the physical stuff where it helps me to relax, I've had some spiritual or encounters or visions, whatever you want to call it, that have been really neat for me. And some of them have been, a part of I Am Human and We Are Not Who We Think We Are, that book. That I'm hoping if you're listening to these podcasts, you've gone to serviceofchange.com and I Am Human and have checked it out and have subscribed to read this book, for free online or get it through our bookstore. Because I have gained a lot of insight in life by just going into, a meditative state and, seeing what I can encounter. And there was a time period when a lot of the stuff was peaking for, what I talk about in this first book, I Am Human, kind of my birth into this path that I'm on. I did a lot of work with power animals, and it's neat because I came into this, kind of just fell into this power animal stuff on my own. I'd meditate and have a vision of, a bear or a wolf. And then it would inspire me to do my own research and find out the meaning behind those different things. And the meaning usually matched what my intuition was telling me. So I'd meditate on these animals, and I'd get the message that whatever message they were trying to bring to me, or whatever quote-unquote gift, or strength they were trying to offer me and teach me. And I would reflect on it and realize, hey, yeah, that makes sense. It would help me make decisions in my life. And there was even a point where every day I would take a bike ride. And I'd go to, it was a business park, but it was always empty, and it was surrounded by woods. So I'd go to one station in this park, and I'd park my bike, and I'd sit there, and I'd put my intention out there. Hey, here's the problem I'm facing today. Please help me. I was looking for guidance. Help me find, the right way or the best way to make this decision. And then I'd drive my bike to a second point in that park, and I kid you not, for a period of about 2 months, every day when I'd go to that second position after putting my intentions out there into the forest, an animal would be sitting in the same spot. Once it was a deer, once it was like this 10-foot black snake. There were rabbits that would show up there, frogs. Sometimes it was a wasp or a bee that'd be sitting there. But every day there was something different there. And I'd go home and I'd look into it and I'm like, wow, this describes exactly what I was feeling and exactly what I needed to read today or to feel today, and it was very helpful to me. And it was a neat way to connect, and that all started with meditation. And I just adopted the, I'm going to go with the flow here and see where this leads me, and I was just open to it. It was a really neat experience. So now in my life, it's kind of just a walking meditation. I'm open to that sensation, to the fact that nature. What I learned was that, I used to ask for a sign. Nature, please talk to me, and tell me something. And I realized that nature is speaking to us all the time. It just doesn't speak English. It speaks in signs and symbols, and things that we tend to overlook every day. And there's a lot of arguments. You're just using your imagination, or that's all in your head. And you know what? Maybe it is. I don't believe it is. I believe this is a real event. I believe there's a real intelligence there. But even if it's just in my head, it works for me and it makes me feel good. So I'm happy to have that. But I feel a real connection and a real relationship to nature. I know there's something higher out there that is intelligent, that is conscious, that is able to give you guidance if you ask for it, or if you just quiet your mind and learn to listen to it. It's a really, really neat phenomenon. So, I make sure every day I take that time in the morning, because a lot of times once I get going with my day, it's hard to stop. But there are times even this year where I was late to work because I said, you know what? I'm going to do my Tai Chi. I'm going to meditate because that's more important for me. That's what matters most, is that connection that I have. And if I'm late, I'll deal with it. It's not a big deal. And I did, and I'm glad, because it helped reduce my stress, because then I'd get to work and I'd say, you know what? I took that time for me this morning. I'm good to go. I got in that that meditative practice, and I'm so thankful that I did. So, start building, in the spirit of small changes, like we say at Service to Change. Schedule yourself for 5 minutes if this is something new to you. And I built a little, my wife and I built a little corner in my office that is, my meditation area. I have, a little altar where I can burn incense and candles. And, when I have time to do certain, rituals that I like to do, I can do them there. I have a bookshelf with all my books that are spiritual to me, and the books that I'm, encompass most of my research into this realm. They're sitting on a little bookshelf there. I have some little figurines and statues and things that are spiritually significant to me. And I had them all there, and it's just a quiet area for me to sit on a little beanbag and relax and meditate and reflect. And it's a part of my daily practice. And I want to get into real quick some of the other benefits of meditation in regards to education. I was a special education teacher. I hate saying was. I miss being a teacher, man. I really do. But I was a special education teacher, and I've taught in some very challenging areas. And, my second year, I was in North Philadelphia, special education 7th grade classroom. Now, 7th graders, for those of you that know middle school kids, they are insane. Middle school kids are so high energy, and they know everything, and they rebel against authority. So they're a tough group and I think I had mostly boys. So they were just every day just off the wall, and trying to get through a lesson was next to impossible because somebody was always goofing off and saying something crazy. So what I did, I only had a chance to do this once or twice, but these kids were so hyper, and they think like me with the ADHD mind. They're just all over the place. So I brought in meditation one day. I did this more than once, but I had them sit down quietly, and I walked them through. I said, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take some deep breaths, and I focused them on relaxing every muscle in their body from their head down to their toes. And then I gave them 5 minutes to just sit there quietly. And once I brought them out of it, the next 30 minutes were the best 30 minutes I ever had with those students, because they were so focused and calm and relaxed. They told me, Mister, we liked that. We enjoyed doing that. That helped us to do our work. So it was a neat experience there. And so I just did a quick Google search on meditation. I know there's programs out there that bring meditation to education. There's the David Lynch Foundation I found, again, just through Google. And it says, Quiet Times Change Lives, the heading there. It says, and it's a quote from a student. Since I started Transcendental Meditation, life has gotten a lot easier. I think more clearly, and I don't rush into things. Plus, my grades have gone up. And that's by Cecilia, a 7th grader. They have what's called the Quiet Time Program, improving academic performance and reducing stress and violence. And what they're talking about here is stress, the number one enemy of learning. And they have some statistics there about the number of people that deal with stress. 25% of teenagers suffer from anxiety disorders. 6.5 million children struggle from disabilities that impair their ability to learn. 1 in 4 high school students has been offered, sold, or given illegal drugs on school property. Suicide is the third leading cause of death among teenagers. Nearly 3 million children receive medication for ADHD. 1 in 3 children are either overweight or obese. And this is from, again, the David Lynch Foundation, his website there. So it talks about some of the research that they had here. 10% improvement on test scores and a narrowing of the achievement gap. Highly effective for increasing creativity. Improved teacher retention and reduced teacher burnout. greater happiness, focus, and self-confidence, reduced ADHD symptoms and symptoms of other learning disorders, 86% reduction in suspensions over 2 years, 40% reduction in psychological distress, including stress, anxiety, and depression, 65% decrease in violent conflict over 2 years. Those are some fascinating statistics. There's other websites out there that mirror these results here. In my books, 3 of my books are about education. I talk about a different way. We need to find a different way. We're regimenting our kids. We're forcing them to go against what comes naturally for them. We're trying to change their circadian rhythms by forcing them to be at school at certain times during the day. That's why they're tired and cranky and grumpy. And we're forcing them into a structure or into a learning process that their brain doesn't naturally flow in. And again, looking at more of a Taoist or a martial arts philosophy, or thinking of Tai Chi, go with the flow. Don't force yourself to go in a direction that's uncomfortable. Yeah, sometimes we have to. That's just the way society's built. But I'm looking to change that. And it starts with education. If we can teach our kids to quiet their minds and meditate, it opens up a world of possibility. It relaxes them, and then it allows them to ease into an uncomfortable situation a lot better than get here at 7 o'clock and start working right away. It doesn't work. Yet we keep trying to say this is how we have to do it. It's so structured and regimented. If you're a teacher, if you're an educator out there, start finding your own meditative practices and find a way to bring it to your students. It has absolutely nothing to do with religion. Now, different spiritual paths use it because it works, but you don't have to be religious to meditate. It doesn't compromise your own spiritual beliefs. Prayer is a form of meditation. It's a form of focused meditation. This isn't prayer. It's just a general, let me relax my body and help focus my mind. And we're really hindering our potential. I could go on forever right now that I'm reading this. I wish I would have started with this. But we're hindering our potential. We're hindering the potential of our students. You want change? Bring meditation into your classroom. I guarantee you're going to start seeing results and turning some heads. So this is what needs to be contagious. Like I said before, this is the revolution. You don't need to take to the streets. Just start doing things like this. When I would close the door to my classroom, that was my time, and that's when I would start, speaking to my students about certain topics that you've heard me talk about on this show and on the change casts that we do. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you do your own research. This is something I would like to revisit at some point in the Seeker podcast. I'd love to hear from you. It's send me an email, send me a Facebook message. Just let me know what you think about this and how you're doing. In your own practices, what works, what doesn't work. Again, get a thread going on the servicechange.com or facebook.com/servicechange or the Truth Seekers Facebook page, TruthSeekers. Again, I'd really love to hear from you. And, a last plug here, 2 plugs. Check out servicechange.com, I Am Human. Read I Am Human for free online because I want you to have this information. I want to hear your thoughts on it as I work on the next book, Food for the Archons. This book is going to be big. It's a very important book that I'm putting together. And lastly, check out our bookstore, servicechange.com/bookstore. All your purchases go to support what we're doing here at Service of Change. So that's all the time I have this morning on the Seeker Podcast. I'm Dennis Nappy II with Service of Change, where small changes among the masses can have a massive impact around the world. I challenge you to be that change and never stop questioning. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.
Welcome to Truth Seekers.